Oh, hey, look, it's someone. Hey, Pixie, how's it going?
Oh, hey, I have to mute the stream. Oh my gosh. Hi. So first of all, congrats and
Thank
everything.
you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, before we get too further, do you want to introduce who you are, give your name, pronouns, etc., etc.?
Oh yeah. I'm Pixie, she, her, Pixie explains and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a newbie trying to get into the same kind of space as Riley, and I want to do a research project next week, and I need to ask you an important question for it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, go
Um,
for it.
yeah. So what I kind of want to spend the week doing, like on my streams, is I want to compile. So like you've testified on you given testimony for bills and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because I know I sent you the one link for the one thing in Montana I found. But, like,
Yeah.
for that whole process, what kind of, like, resources do you need for each state? Because I wanna make, like, a master spreadsheet for, like, every single state. If there's ever anything going on of, like, this is how someone gets involved or, like, this is where you can see the bill. I'm just curious, like,
Yeah.
what sorts of
So
things.
what I'm discovering, so basically, like, to give people context, essentially there was a point where, like, over the past couple weeks, as I explained a little bit earlier, I've been trying to figure out what to do with my content to maximize the amount of good I can do with my channel. Because
Mhm.
like in order to be able to maximize what you can do with the channel, it has to be both like it has to be able to do something. And it also has to be able to grow you as a content creator online, right? Like if
Mhm.
you like for example, there's someone in my community who literally has not started streaming but is going to and has like an online presence, who is the head researcher at the National Center for Transgender Equality, right? She has done a lot of amazing work, has not done a lot of social media experience, right? And so her knowledge, at least the knowledge that she has conveyed so far to me, has to be related to people who I have been able to reach through the fact that I've grown my platform, right? Whereas she
Yeah.
has not been able to. So you have to be able to like grow your platform and also do something with your content. And with state congressional testimony, it's hard because it is like they I'm going to be a little cynical here. A lot of states will intentionally put a lot of obstacles in front of people to be able to give congressional testimony. The reason being why is because that's one of the very few ways that someone from literally any background can be able to influence legislation, right?
Yep.
Just to give people an idea, it's testifying on bills, like going to bill testimony, and also, oh hey Jesse, it's going and testifying on bills and calling legislators, right? Here's the really hot tip, and this is also a reason why I can't really like disclose any of the people I'm working for.
Mhm.
A lot of people think that like writing letters to Congress people is another really good way to be able to help. I'm just gonna tell you it doesn't. It like material like it like the fact of the
Okay.
matter is the people who you write to are probably going to have like an intern or a legislative aide draft a boilerplate response that they will send back to you and other people who write in with similar questions, right? The actual legislator that you're writing to will probably never actually see the letter that you are sending in or the email or whatever. So the way that you reach
Okay.
them, but with and so like that's going to be true at either the state or federal level, the federal level especially, but at the state level,
Yeah.
you can at least have the ability if you are a constituent in a representative's district, you can call them and you can set up a time to come in and see them in person. And they almost
Okay.
have to let you if you are a constituent. If you're not a constituent, they'll often ignore you. But if you are a constituent of a state representative, they will almost always try to make time to see you in person. And then you can actually sit down and have a conversation with them and you can actually influence legislation. The reason why that's
Cool.
relevant is because for me, knowing about all the different state initiatives going on, there's very little that I can do to influence a lot of that. I know that Josie has mentioned that one thing that could be done is like phone banking, or like basically, I'm trying to, it's either that or a different, it's like phone flooding or call flooding or something like that. Basically, where you have a giant wave of people all calling the office at once. That seems like it could work. It just requires a decent amount of coordination, and I'm not sure if I want to do that with my platform. Um,
Yeah.
but otherwise, like, there's not a lot of things that I can individually do other than draw attention to a bill that's happening. And while that can be good, I also so like while I can make content which could have like an effect, right? So we talked about earlier there are two things that you want for content. You want there to be an effect and you want there to be the ability for it to grow your platform. While bringing attention to a bill can have a really good effect, it's really hard to actually make people, and I hate to say it, but it's really hard to make people actually watch that content. Like, as far as
Yeah.
my experience, like, I hate to say it, but one of my most recent examples, and this is nothing against Josie, but I had an interview with literally the head researcher at the National Center for Transgender Equality, and like, it's one of my most lowest viewed videos, and that's nothing
Oh,
against
no.
her. Like, it's one of the best conversations I've had on my channel. And the reason why I think so, and this is the really hot take, is that people on like who watch political content are most often drawn to drama. Um,
Yeah.
a really good example, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of monologuing, but like
It's okay.
I think about this a ton, right? A really good example is if you look at like the really big bread tubers and the videos that they do that do the best, almost all of them either have to do with anything that's like trans related or like LGBT related will do really well because that's just super hot right now online.
Mhm.
Like it is. But also whenever there's like a antagonist that they focus against, right? Natalie's most recent video on J.K. Rowling, easily one of, like, it's going to be one of her biggest videos of all time, right? But also if you look historically, when she talks about Ben Shapiro and she talks about Jordan Peterson, like, those are the videos that end up doing the best because it's easy to get invested in like content which has a clear antagonist. I don't know why, other than to say that people just like drama, and politics often involves drama. I
Cool.
understand. I'm glad that you understand. I'm so sorry. Listen, you are great, Josie, and you bring a lot of good to the community, and I'm glad that you are here. We will figure out how to do this, all right? But I am constantly thinking about this, and so that's why so that's just a long way of saying. So I'm going to return to get to the original point, to try and keep this brief. So what resources you need to be able to look up if you want to be able to help people figure out what they could do? You need to be able to get them the resources. So I would start with like individual bills. I would focus on bills, which
Mhm.
means that the resource that you're going to be compiling will probably have to be regularly updated because like the
Yeah.
bills are always the most important things to focus on.
Yeah.
And then I would focus on the specific language. So you have what the bills are. You have a list of the bills. You have the specific language about the bill or what the bill is trying to do. Maybe like a one sentence summary, right? Like
Yeah.
trans bathroom bill. People can see that and immediately know it's going to be. Almost all the language is going to be the
Mhm.
same. And then on top of that, people need to know when the bill is going to be heard next. Now, a lot of websites are vague about when this is, so you need to also be constantly checking on that, again, which is why it takes just a lot of effort on people because often states will be intentionally vague or intentionally not say when they're going to hear
Yeah.
certain bills. So you have
Yeah.
to keep that updated. And then you'll have to include information on how to contact the sponsors of a bill, as well
Okay.
as
How
the
to contact
committee chair.
sponsors.
Yeah, well, the sponsors, the co-sponsors, and also the committee chairs for the bill for the committees that is assigned to. Every
Got
bill
it.
is assigned to a committee at the state level, and usually how it goes is when a bill is first introduced, it'll be referred to a committee who will basically it's like people who like the legislators from that Congress who the Congress self-determined has the most experience with a certain field of legislation. And so that committee will look at a bill and write a report on the effects of that bill and whether or not they will give like their opinion on whether or not the rest of the Congress should vote favorably or not on that bill. And normally
Cool.
like 9 times out of 10, the rest of the Congress will vote based on the report, right? If the committee gives a
Yeah.
favorable report, then the rest of the Congress will vote favorably and then vice versa.
Mhm.
Um, so it's important to contact the committee chairs, as well as the sponsors of the bill, and then possibly any people in Congress who you know is going to argue against the bill. An easy way to find that out is if you look at if there are any recorded bill hearings, to be able to just go back and watch those and see who made arguments against the bill.
Yeah. Cool.
Does
And then
that
like
or
yeah,
sorry,
that
go ahead.
definitely that's great. Yeah, I'll definitely like I'm gonna make like a spreadsheet like state by state, each of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's a lot of information,
Thanks so
but
much.
just to summarize, so you want the bill, what the bill
Yeah.
does, when it's going to be heard next, and who the people are to contact about the bill, specifically the bill sponsors and the co-chairs of the bill,
Yeah.
and the
Got
co-chairs
it.
on the committee that the
Cool.
bill is assigned to. And then that
Okay.
would be the most pertinent information for people from those
Nice.
states and districts to be able to act on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll get started on that. I wonder if you, in the future, whenever you make content about bills, if like framing it in terms of like, here's like the one old congressman who's trying to do this, like might make it do better. Like
I've
if you create
definitely
that
thought
kind
about
of
it.
narrative.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it is like it's so here's also the deceptive thing about it. It's easy to do that when you have like recordings of testimony to be able to react to because you have something like very firm to narratively tie onto. Like a couple
Yes.
weeks ago, I reacted to a hearing that I was a part of on police use of force in Maryland. Now that video did not
Yeah.
go up because uh, there are other reasons behind closed doors relating to my work over at Congress. But that did not go up. But like that would have been good content to be able to do. And if every state gave that same kind of video, then that would be a different
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But
I'm also
most yeah, or sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I don't know about recordings, but I am compiling, and I find this for most states. There's some way to watch or listen to the hearings live.
Yeah,
So I
now
am starting on that list as well,
yeah,
which could be useful.
now that could be really useful if you because usually that's like the biggest hiccup is that like a lot of states do not include resources to be able to watch those things live. But if
Yeah.
you do, and I'm saying this to
It's like
people
a
who want to do
scavenger hunt.
streaming like you, like anyone who wants to really make an impact on this, in my opinion, like reacting to those hearings and calling out people who make really bad arguments, I think that's I think that's a gold mine.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
a massive, massive wealth of content, and also people will probably watch it because it's going to have like some degree of drama to it, so it's going to be entertaining. But also,
Mhm.
you'll be able to directly call people to
Yeah.
action. Like it's all like it's got
Yeah.
all of the essential elements there. I
Yeah,
can't
I
do.
saw one with a turf who was dressed like Paddington Bear. It was wild.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Now that's
I'll have to
an
get a stream
amazing
clip
video.
too.
That's an
Yeah.
amazing video waiting to happen, but it'll also perform very well and it also like will probably do a material good, right? Like that's
Cool.
awesome. I cannot do that because I have 1.5 million commitments and
Yeah,
planning
yeah,
all
yeah.
of the like planning just the hearings that I go to already are like basically most of them. So most of them fall on a Thursday. I literally the last hearing I did I got done and immediately had to jump into a class where I was lecturing the class on how to be able to do legislative research, right? It's
Oh,
very,
no.
very
Yeah,
difficult for
yeah,
me to
yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
But
but I know you're very busy, you do good stuff, that's why I'm happy to, like, stream during the day and get these resources together to, like, help you out when you have the time, so
yeah, and also help other
keep it
people.
up.
If other people want to do that, then I will
Yeah,
100% promote
totally.
them.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
really
I'll
good
publicly,
content.
like, release it on the server once I have, like, a full sheet going, so yeah.
Yeah, totally. All
Good
right.
luck.
But
Keep it up.
yeah, does that help?
Yeah, totally, thank you so much.
No problem.
Good
All right.
luck with everything else.
Thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.